Well, this is a tribute to my mom. She was born June 28th, 1930. This was her as a small child. She went ahead and went for the Shirley Temple curls in that picture. And this is her sister and her mother and father. She was a teenager during World War II. Talked a lot about rationing and all the different things that they had to do. And she graduated from high school in 1948. Lovely senior picture there. I had no idea about this picture. It might have been after she was married, but she's dancing, doing something crazy right there. And she was a big K-State fan. She graduated from Kent State University and was a big Wildcats fan and would call you if you lost to her alumni. And that's her mother and her father, and that's her brother and her sister. And she could have married the guy who invented Pop-Tarts, and we were all a little disappointed that she didn't do that. But she ended up marrying Gail Raymond Frank. And they got married, moved to Chicago. She ended up teaching as he did his internship in Chicago. And their first kid was Carolee Frank. And back then you had big families. And then Mary Frank, Kathy Frank, and Jonathan Frank. And of course, we all grew up and did our own thing, moved out of the house. And some of us had our own kids, and grandkids, and great grandkids, and kids and kids and kids and kids. She was the manager of the Geological Library downtown. She was also 350 yards from the Murrow building when it exploded and helped people when they were coming down the street. This is her brother and her sister. Call them Aunt Tootie and Uncle Ronnie. She's a big hardware store owner, and he was a professional golfer. She had some hardware stores in the Bay Area, has them, and he went to Vietnam, and he was in the rice paddy, and somebody said, "Do you have any accounting experience?" And Uncle Ronnie said, "I do." And he went to an office that still got shelled by rockets, and we were thankful that he made it through Vietnam, and married Marcy, and they had a couple of kids, and these were her cousins, fun cousins, had a little family reunion. And when she retired, she did some acting and painting and worked at the Christmas Connection for homeless people and made quilts for the Infant Crisis Center and did the book sorting site. Volunteered there because she got free books. So it wasn't all altruistic, but it was just something that she really, really liked to do. One of her big things was acting, and I kind of mad at myself that I never went to any of her acting stuff, but her and Joan Fitzgerald did a lot of acting. They did, she was Martha Washington. She was also the Grumpy Ladybug, went to elementary schools, and both of those guys would just memorize tons and tons of lines, and she would recite them, no problem. These are some of the brochures of the different acting plays that she went to, and these are some of the costumes. We were slightly embarrassed of our mom at this time in our life, but she did not care at all. She just thought it was great fun. And she had just this unbelievable memory. She could memorize events and sharp as a tack. She also was in the garden club. This was 60 years old. She had friends from the garden club. This Virginia nunnery. She did Bible study fellowship with Virginia, and this is her good friend Joan, and this is her also good friend Joyce, my mother-in-law. She had her own art gallery in her house, and we made a whole book of her artwork, and my sister made brochures. She was a good painter, went to the county fair, and she would win some stuff, come in second place, and just do a lot with that. This is her in her tornado closet. Whenever tornadoes would come to Oklahoma, she would go into the closet and seek shelter from the violent tornadoes in Oklahoma. I think everybody in Oklahoma has a tornado closet. And she came out of the closet. She'd call me say I'm coming out of the closet, and it meant something different in California than it does in Oklahoma. That's her granddaughter, Erin. Spent a lot of time with her. And Granny was always an influence on her grandchildren. Here's my daughter not wanting to get her picture taken. Here's Granny not wanting to get her picture taken. So Granny shows her to go ahead and put the little hood on, and now I can't take pictures of my daughter because she has learned from Granny that you just put the hood over your head. So I just called her Darth Sidious in The Apprentice. Another grandchild was Anna, and she was a nurse. She is a nurse right now, working COVID wards. That's crazy. She's just doing a great job. And that was her at her wedding. And here is Skylar, my daughter, and here is John Fisher, raft guide extraordinaire. Had been down the Grand Canyon about 3 times now, and the Foodalafoo in South America. And this is Anna's husband, Britt, and her other grandchild, Kevin, an orthopedic surgeon in Oklahoma City, and Lydia Frank, waffle eater extraordinaire. Here's Aaron, went ahead and took over a lot of the duties at Christmas and Thanksgiving because Granny was getting a little older. And this is Mary and Kathy with Granny. Love that shot. That's a great one. And they put in a free library. My mom loved to put the books in the free library. Had a bench, and she'd just watch the kids read books out of her house window. And that's Mary again with Marjorie. And that is Carolee, her oldest, helping her up the walkway. Here's a big tree in front of her house. Grandkids love to climb it, hang out at Granny's house, throw socks at each other, and do stuff at Christmas time. It hadn't been like Christmas at Granny's house in a very, very long time. There is just typical eating, which you do with your grandparents, you just eat. Now, these are the first responders. These are her neighbors, incredible people. They would come over her house at night and help Granny out if Granny hit her life alert button, and I love these guys so much. Big impact on Granny in her later years. Here I am with my mom in El Dorado Springs Canyon, and I asked her if she wanted to climb the naked edge, and she said,
I already have done that, John.
But wouldn't you want to lead it for me this time? Because I'm getting older.
No, I already led it in 1936.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, okay. And this was her at her granddaughter's wedding, and I can't play the music. It was Taylor Swift, but YouTube wouldn't let me put the music in there. But this is her grandson, Jonathan Fisher, and Noah Fisher, dancing with Granny in the wheelchair, and she was pretty much the hit of the wedding, and that was just a super fun time. And she was the party that was ready to happen, especially when little John Fisher was around. We never like to get these guys in the same place because all kinds of crazy things will happen. We also put together a book of her art gallery, and she passed away July 31st, 2020. And we all just miss her very, very much. She was just this incredible gal. Had a lot of things to overcome in life, a lot of circumstances, but she always met them as best she could, straight on. And she is definitely my hero and probably the hero of so many other people. And we're going to miss you. Love you.